Okay, now we're ready to actually start making a movie. This is the fun part, it's beginning. Now, one of the common things, kind of questions that come up when people first start doing this is they look at their video and, for instance, or their stills, and they say, you know, I see it and I'm selecting, but I don't see where to put it. And that's just because they have not made a timeline yet. So that is very important. Now it is time to make our timeline. So here we go. How did we do that? You can press the plus here, and that will do it. Or you can go up here and you can do new movie. Remember, iMovie calls timeline project movie. Well, that's what they do. You can do all those things. It's important to realize that a timeline must be associated with an event. It must be associated with an event. So let's try this. I'm going to try and associate with the library and see what happens here. And so I press the click the plus button, and we're going to make a movie. Now remember, I told you it had a lot of these have themes and all, sort of like templates, but we're doing no theme. So it's already highlighted in blue. So there we go, create. Now it wants to know, what do I name it? So we'll call it Worldview. That's going to be kind of our go-to name for the whole thing. And we're going to put OK. And there we go. So this is the whole thing is drastically change it. Let's move this maybe down a little bit there. You can see better. And if we twirl this down, you know, we have our events, and there we go, and our different types of media that are in the event. And here is our project, which apparently now does not have to be associated with an event. Now that's new. We just learned something new here. There we go. In the past, the project always had to be associated with an event, but I guess now it just has to be associated with the library. All right, well, that's good. Notice the library is really consistent of these 4 little boxes with stars. So in other words, this is an event, and it's got the single star in there, but this is 4 boxes that look like this, just smaller. So there we go. So if we had all events, and here's our project media, and we can have more than one project, which we'll see shortly. But here's the one we have open now, which is Worldview, and there we go. So by clicking library, I have clicked everything. Remember, library is everything. So now we have our stills, which are signified by these little camera icons. Of course, the audio, as you notice, is green. These orange things, kind of tips of the waveform, showing that it is getting very close to being loud. Remember that loud one we heard? Yeah, that's it right there. Or that's just loud music, actually. I'm sorry, that's the music there, important. Music always comes in loud, by the way. We'll have to do some work on that. And here's our waveforms for our interviews, our 2 interviews that we have down here. There's our stills. Okay, so that's all of it, but we can separate it by just going to video, and now all we have is the video. Just separates the video out of there. So how do we get this down to here? Well, that couldn't be simpler. If you just click anywhere up here, you see how my cursor is moving, and it is also updating in our window here. If you click there and you see that little plus, exactly what it's going to do, add 4 seconds to the movie. So if you click that, it's going to go straight down on the movie. So that's one way. Now you're not constrained by that 4 seconds. You can drag the end. See, now it's 2.8, now it's even more. And that is because of this next important concept that I'm about to tell you. This 4-second, roughly, piece that we just took is indeed 4 seconds out of this 3-minute clip But actually, this segment is the entire 3-minute clip. It's just that anything after and anything before is invisible. It's a reference to this, so that's important to realize. And also, this is very important, this piece that we just put down here, this little segment, which is really just the visible part of the entire clip, is represented by this orange. You see, so it's telling us this part of this whole clip is down here now in this timeline, and it's this part right here. So watch what happens when I drag this even longer. Let's see that? Did you see that? Or even make it shorter. There we go. So it's telling you this is very, very cool to know. Consequently, if you click on this, look, it gave you the parameters of that clip right there, and you can drag it again if you want to. And that's way number 2 to get it down there. So I just dragged it down there. But you could also click and drag. Now see, I've made a yellow bounding box, and I can put it on the end, or guess what? I can put it anywhere I want. The middle, and look, everything just kind of scooches around, or I could put it at the beginning. It's very, very powerful. I'm going to scooch this down. So there we go, and we have 3. Of course, they're kind of identical, so it's hard to tell who's who. And there we go. So suppose since this is a good place to interject this, they all look alike. Well, how do I tell where, like, this one is in here in the grand scheme? Let's put another one. I'm just going to do this, and we'll illustrate number 3. I just clicked and dragged. And by the way, I can, drag, and where those waveforms are down near the bottom, that's a good place to make the cut. We're not committed to that by any chance, because we can stretch that around. So I've got this, and what I'm going to do is press the letter E. And what does that do? Append. That means it goes to the end. There we go. So we have that. Okay, they all look alike. I don't know where the heck that is. And how would we tell where that is, right? Where would that be? So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to use the Control or right click. And okay, you can't tell it's down there, so I'm going to go up here to let's see, it might be modify. No, I think it's here we go. So File, Reveal. We don't want to reveal in the Finder. We want to reveal in the project media right there. Finder would be literally back on your hard drive. So reveal in project media, and there it is. It's telling you where it is. Very, very handy to know. Works for every last bit of media on here. Don't forget that one. Very cool. Okay, so there's that. Now, how do you get them off there? Well, you just highlight it. See how it's got the yellow bounding box? Highlight it by clicking and press the delete. Not the delete with the X in it. There's 2 deletes. So it's the delete right above your return key there thing. So we can do this. Just click, delete, click, delete. Oh, look what's happening up here. When I do the last one, all gone. But let's do another one. So I'm going to do, I'm not paying attention to where I'm starting and stopping. You would. So I'm going to press the letter E. Okay. So let's go to another bit of video, which is down here in video. Here we go. And let's do this guy, and we're going to press the letter E, right? And then let's go to this, and we're going to press the letter E. So now we actually do have 3 things that we can, that look different, finally. So again, you can put this in the middle. See how everything scooches down? I've got a lot of stuff to throw at you here, so we're going to probably just do video in this, and then we'll work on audio and stills in the next one. But see this black bar? I'm going to play through here by clicking up here and pressing the space bar. Here we go.
greater than us.
Oh, that's loud. Right away, I'm gonna make this lower. And this bar right here is the audio level, so I'm just gonna drag it way down. So let's do that again. Play through.
Greater than us if we didn't have.
Now, we didn't pay attention to where that started or stopped. Let's do that again.
If we didn't have faith in our community and our people.
Okay. These are two disparate clips, and that is signified by this bar, but there was no gap. Watch for the gap if you see one.
If we didn't have.
No gap. No gap. And down here, the same thing. There's no gap. It just is signifying disparate clips. So that said, we can take this and cut it. Yes, you can cut it. So I'm going to use Command B to do that. And before I'm going to go back over that again. But take a look. There's no black bar in there. So this is going to play through with no break interruption.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Did you see that? Okay. But the instant I shorten this up, we have that. And now we'll see, there was hardly any jump there. We'll have to make it a little bit more pronounced. There we go. Well, she nodded at the same time. But anyway, and so if we move this back to where that bar disappears, why we have our playthrough perfectly. This would be of use if you wanted to drag this up and just put it on top. Or maybe put it over, just drag it and put it over here. Here we go. So we play that through.
So we didn't have faith.
So you get the idea how this works, how flexible that is. And Command Z goes backwards all the way back to open, which brings up a very important thing that I may have said before, but I'll say it again. No need to save in iMovie. It saves dynamically as you go. You can undo all the way back to the last time you opened it and go forward too. But you can either do, here's our undo Command Z. It's just telling trim that happened to be the last thing, or Shift Command Z, which is going forward. So very, very important to keep in mind. By the way, you can also use it doesn't mean cut it out, cut a piece out. It just means make a split. So here it is right here, split clip, which is what? Command B. So if I did that, it just split it again, and there we go. Now watch out when you do this, because remember I said that each one of these is actually the entire clip. It's just that the before and after parts are invisible, so it's possible to overlap without meaning to when you drag the ends. Okay, so that's basically how you do it. So next we're going to go in a little more advanced as we add stills and audio.